Report, the movie podcast where Sean
and Mampy
watch shit, talk shit, and most importantly, eat shit. We are the law. And guess what we saw?
Oh, you little dirt devil. We saw the one and only Furiosa.
Furiosa.
A Mad Max Saga? Is that it? What is
Are
it?
you ready to make it epic?
That's
what
the
I'm
question.
asking you. I got a big old nose.
Yeah, they gave him a
And
big old nose.
It's epic. Now, let me ask you this.
Oh.
J.K. Rowling is known for being incredibly anti-Semitic and just like having her Jewish characters be little weird troll men who run the banks and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think Dementus is a Jewish man?
Oh, that's a good... I mean, it is a Jewish name, so perhaps... No,
Dementberg.
Dementberg.
Hello, my name is Moivel de Dementberg.
Moivel de
How are you?
That's pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I think he's just a guy,
He's got a
man.
big ass nose.
He just has a huge
In the
snock
future,
and
we
honk.
ain't got religion unless we got a Morton Joe.
Follow our nose
Yeah.
wherever Immortan
I
Joe's.
smell guzzling.
Guzz it. I'm gonna guzz it.
Okay,
Guzz.
Mampy,
Yeah.
tell me right now,
Uh-huh.
what did you think?
Well, Sean, I've been dreading this day. I knew it was
no.
gonna come. Ever since we saw we had the text going, I was like, I know Sean loves this movie. This is gonna be a tough episode for us because
Did you
I
hate it?
too loved the movie.
Wow, you blew my fucking mind, Mampy.
Just like I blew Furiosa's mom blew the heads off of some motorcyclists
Yeah,
as they stole her daughter.
yeah. And just like the organic mechanic blew into a fire to make blood sausage out of human flesh.
Exactly. This is the type of thing that we're talking about.
These
here.
are the kind of fun things that you do in your post-apocalypse.
I mean, you've got to find ways to make it enjoyable, or what is even the point?
I mean, some may wonder, are you ready to make it epic?
Yeah, you make it epic. Epic.
I'm trying to not do John Lennon. I feel like I'm almost hitting John Lennon. I'm trying to not
Oh,
do that.
Yoko. I can't even do it at all.
Hey, Yoko, how are you?
Make it epic. That's
Ready
hard
to make it
do.
epic. I, too, quite liked it.
Yeah, I had a blast.
I think... I don't know if we're doing rankings or anything.
Oh, right.
It's probably low on my rankings.
Sure.
Even though I don't know how low. Ask me at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
But I liked it a lot. And you know what happens in this movie, Mampy?
So much stuff, but I need you to tell me.
I'll tell you. This is the plot. Okay. 1, there's a little girl. She's at the green place. She's being, let's be honest, pretty precocious.
Mm-hmm.
She and her little sister, dark matter.
Lady.
Wait, it's something.
It's something.
Wait, isn't it?
Esmeralda.
No, it's Valkyrie.
Valkyrie.
Wow.
That's it. There we go.
They're out picking peaches. They're out in the South Georgia section of
the
Australia
wasteland.
picking peaches.
Wasteland.
And Furiosa sees some terrifying men killing a horse.
Yeah.
She says, well, I'm tiny and I have no weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I just go and fuck with these guys?
Yeah.
And it doesn't work out that well for her because
No.
she gets kidnapped. And but luckily, she's got a toot-toot little whistle.
Yeah.
And her mother comes to help her, which in the end maybe isn't that lucky because lots of bad stuff happens. But there's an epic adventure. Everything in this movie is epic.
Yep.
There's lots of shooting of heads, and eventually, spoiler alert, I think everything up until now is fine, but now, from now, this moment till the rest of the episode, it's all spoilers.
Yep. Watch out.
They get caught. Furiosa gets taken to Dementus, who is played by Chris Hemsworth, and her mother gets tortured to death?
Basically.
Disemboweled? We don't really know, but something bad happens.
Yeah, they hint at it, but they do not show.
She did.
She dies.
Long story
absolutely.
short, she did.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know if I'm if I'm a future warlord, I might keep a beautiful woman around.
I mean, and she's a good fighter.
Yeah. Just say, hey, if you stick around and you join our band of brothers, I won't hit your daughter in the head with a hammer.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good argument. And she'll probably go, what the hell? Yeah.
All right. Bad. I don't want her to get hit in the head with a hammer, so I guess.
Well, I don't want my daughter Furiosa getting hit in the head with a hammer. Do I? Do I? And then, fast forward to, actually not that far.
Yeah, not
fast
too far
forward
at all.
a little bit.
7 days later.
And we learn about the youth of Furiosa, which is mostly spent with her watching Dementus rip people to shreds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She talks to the history man a little bit. There's a fellow who's covered in tattoos, who's got all the history of the world on his skin and on his robes, and he's telling her, "Hey, just be indispensable, be very useful, and you won't be killed." That's basically the only way to stay alive is to be indispensable. And we march forward. Finally, Dementus has decided to take on Immortan Joe, which is pretty stupid.
You can't.
We know that. He doesn't know that.
He don't know it.
But the moment he drives up, you're like, well, they're up high and you're down low. How do you expect to fight them?
Yeah, exactly.
They have like the main advantage when people are speaking of advantages is they have the high ground.
Yeah,
and you have no way to get to them.
You've clearly never seen Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
Clearly.
Because Anakin learned that lesson as well.
Let me ask you this. In the Mad Max world, in the Furiosa saga.
Sure.
Did Star Wars... Wait, did episode 3 happen? Because it was like probably 85, 86 when the end of the world happened.
Yes.
Or maybe even 82. So they had the first Star Wars, maybe Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had no idea. They didn't even know there was going to be a third Star Wars.
No!
That's crazy.
They didn't even fucking know.
Man, I mean, hey, maybe it's better that way. Maybe it's better for it to end it too. On a sad ending?
Kind of.
Yeah.
They never got to know how many different Doctor Strange movies there would be.
Yeah, never.
Sad.
It is. It's strange. And they don't even know that there's more Mad Max.
No.
Movies. They don't even know.
They don't. Also, they don't know how many different people will play Mad Max.
I know.
They don't know a bunch of shit. Okay, so back. Dementus gets his ass handed to him. And Dementus, he's like, I gotta figure out some way. So he uses some sneaky stuff to get into Gastown, and he takes it over. And then he says, hey, Immortan Joe, I run Gastown now. We want more stuff. And Immortan Joe's like, okay, a little bit. You can have a little bit. But what I want is that little girl who could be my wife in like 4 years.
Insane.
Creepy stuff. And I want that fat guy you got fixing people. Give me the fat guy. Organic mechanic, please, because he seems like he knows a lot about, one, fixing people, and also, once they're dead, turning them into delicious sausages.
Yeah, once you got that, you got an infinite supply of food. Because people are always dying.
People are dying all the time.
Yeah.
And then you can have a nice sausage. What else can you do? You can crack open their bones and have the what's in there?
The liquid.
Yeah. Bone liquid.
Bone liquid.
You can make bone broth. Liquid. I hear that's very hot right now.
Yes.
And this is what happened next. There's a lot of shit in this movie. Wow. Okay. A speed round. Dementus and Immortan Joe are at odds. They're battling.
battle.
All this time, Furiosa is learning to be more and more badass.
Mm-hmm.
She sneaks around. She's pretending to be a boy. Somehow no one can tell.
Yeah.
She's got most of her face covered up, so they're just like, who's this wimp? And she eventually meets up with Praetorian Jack, who runs the big rig at the time. He's the predecessor to Furiosa at the job of big rig driver man. And she learns everything from him. And you know what happens next? As is custom with people who have someone that means something to them, Jack is tortured.
Oof.
There's many different... They get to drive like 10 times and kill 100 people, but then eventually he gets tortured to death.
Sadly.
She gets her arm smashed by a monster truck. Mm-hmm. Then she rips it off so she can be free.
Wild.
And then she heads back. They battle. Everybody battles. The entire battle between the two different sides is shown in about like 13 seconds of just like montage. And then we cut to Furiosa finding and demolishing Dementus.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Care of his ass.
She gets her revenge.
Mm-hmm.
That was maybe a little longer than I wanted it to be, but about halfway through, I was like, "Oh man, I haven't even gotten. I don't think I've gotten past the beginning of this movie."
It's a long movie with a lot going on, and I think you did a great job. You got through it. And
thank you.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you did.
And I'll be honest. I think it took me a little while. Maybe like halfway through or a little bit before that, I was like, okay, this is a lot different.
Yes, absolutely.
There are parts that's similar. There's like badass road battles.
Sure.
There's all sorts of shit like that. But it plays very different than almost every one of the other movies, except maybe Thunderdome. It's sort of Thunderdome-esque because it kind of has these little stories that don't always exactly match. Like they involve the same characters, but there's other shit happening that you don't imagine will happen. And I don't know. It's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's just different. It's a different movie.
But it is pretty good.
I liked it. I had a blast. I was like, this is so fun. And it's cool to see a movie where they commit and they're like, we're making this world. We're telling this story. And I thought they did a good job. And regardless of all this stuff about box office.
We don't need to worry about that. I mean, if they stop playing movies in theaters, I will have no reason to live. Like, literally. But that's okay.
You hear that, folks? Keep the movies going.
Do you want me to live or not?
Yeah, it's up to
this
you,
is how
Hollywood.
You choose.
Yeah. We're going to take a break from movies. They like said that.
Food Court, the Food Court podcast.
Yeah, I always think if one of us goes, like, will we do an episode after where we're like, hey, guys.
hey, YouTube. Mampy, he was hit by a bus.
Yeah.
And then it backed over him.
Yeah.
It hit him once, he was fine, then it backed over his head.
They realized they had passed a stop. They had to go back. They didn't actually realize they hit him.
Yeah.
And now, that's what killed him.
And he had one of the war rig chains, so it was like a really... And they smashed his head. And here's video. I got video. Somebody posted on World Star.
Yeah. And actually his body, he was still alive somehow, and his body got dragged behind the bus, and wild dogs started chasing and eating him alive. It was... And somehow the brain didn't quite get crushed in the right spot, so he could still feel the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was just...
And he could still shriek.
Yeah. Everyone in New York was just looking down at their phones, talking to their people, fighting, having other fights. Yeah. Other people were being murdered at the same time. It was just crazy. Too much going on.
Yeah.
But, it was bad.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
That's what I say.
That's a mangled Mampy ball of meat.
Hey, that's a nice man. Remember bumping me.
Mankatiba. Hey,
Hey,
Mamba.
Mampy.
Hey,
I
what's
got a
up?
question for you.
What's your question?
What's the beefalama year of this
The
movie?
Best part of this movie, man. Every accent I do just turns into Jamaica every time. I just love them. I love the
I
people.
work, or soon will not work anymore, but
Ooh.
currently work with a few Jamaicans, and they're very nice.
They're lovely people.
Now, I don't know if this is just coincidental, but many of them are gay. So I don't know if that is all the Jamaicans in America are gay or what.
Yes.
No, I mean, I'm not casting aspersions.
No,
if you're a straight Jamaican, that's great too. I just know some nice gay Jamaicans.
A straight Jamaican took every last dime with that scam is a line from a Modest Mouse song, and I never realized that they were saying this Jamaican just happened to be straight.
True.
It's all coming together now. I'm like, oh, because there are some Jamaicans, if you will.
Gay
I think that's
Jamaicans make
like
gay
when you make put wordplay in there, and
Yeah.
it lightens the mood because we love them, and they're great. They're great Mons. Is it multiple Mons or is Mon plural?
Great Mons think alike.
Great Mons think alike. Mon. Anyway.
Yeah.
How did we even get to this?
You were about to speak about
yes.
Euros, and we thought, Euros? What makes us think of Euros? Jamaicans.
Jamaicans. I did, I won't even go into it. Let's talk about my favorite part of Furiosa, Mad Max Saga.
That sounds great to me.
My favorite part, there's a lot of really fun action scenes and stuff like that. But one in particular I thought was just really thrilling and fun with lots of sniping action and people getting smashed. It is when, so I don't even know how to say it. What is it? Praetorian?
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 Yeah, I think.
What does that mean?
I looked it up. It's essentially like different levels of Greek society. Like there's like a senator, and then there's like a imperator, which is above a praetorian or something. I don't know. It's like it's sort of like general and corporal and for the troops.
Was Furiosa an imperator, or was she a
She was in this film. She is eventually a praetorian.
Okay, but
in Fury Road.
I don't remember.
In Fury Road, she's an imperator.
Okay, that's what I was like. I don't remember what I feel like they called her something else, and they did. They called her that. Anyway, her and Jack, the basically Mad Max surrogate, character,
hot boy.
They are driving into Bullet Town.
Yes.
Bullet Farm. Yes. Gas Town and Bullet Farm.
Yes.
There's 3 locations.
Yeah.
In the whole wasteland.
Yeah.
Where does the people who fought in Road Warrior, where are they at? What's their base?
I mean,
This random?
They went to the fucking where do they go? I think they went to the north. If I remember correctly.
Okay, I don't remember.
And they also went to the sea.
Oh.
I think. I feel like one of the, maybe I'm creating this idea in my head, but I feel like one of them has a postcard of the beach at some point, but maybe I made that up and that's some entirely different movie.
Who knows?
Because it seems like that is in 1,000 movies, right?
Yeah, that's in every movie.
Postcard of a beach. But I think they went north. Tweet at us at Food Courtcast if you know which direction those kind of pale yellow people from their clothes from Road Warrior.
Yes.
Where'd they go?
Where'd they go? Anyway. Whatever. And there's a lot of talk about if this is the same time period or if maybe this Max is not even that Max. Who knows?
And also, if these stories are all myths, maybe they're just different stories about the, a person who is a hero. Mm-hmm. Maybe if someone else told this story of Furiosa's childhood, she would say Max was Jack.
Yeah, you never see.
You know, who knows?
You never know, which I love about that. And I like that it makes Fury Road so nice so he just leaves.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, he just he could have been there, could have not. Who knows who he even really was.
Yeah.
And I love it. And he has some backstory that we're just never going to really know because... I mean, I've still never seen the original.
Really?
I still need to see it.
Kicks
it's so
ass.
funny. But I know it's different.
The third best one. Third or fourth.
Okay, where do you put your first? Sorry, I gotta know.
I'm very old school.
Uh-oh.
I'm a Road Warrior guy.
Road Warrior's awesome.
It's so good.
It's a really good movie.
And it is almost the opposite of this movie because it is like no fat.
Yeah.
There's no moments. There's almost no moments where someone isn't moving.
Yeah.
And that happens to a certain extent in Fury Road.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, they're like, we got to get out of this movie within 83 minutes.
Please.
Or the world's going to explode. And they're just like, we got to get out of this movie.
Gotta go.
They're just driving so fast to the end of the movie.
That would have been an amazing idea if, like, at the end, it cuts to, like, a theater and a truck blasts through the screen.
That'd be great.
That would be incredible.
Hey.
Anyway.
Hey, George Miller, you're
Come on.
getting old. You need someone to pass the torch to. My hand is here.
It's us, baby.
It's waiting to hold a torch. It was made by God to hold a torch. It's the perfect torch holding shape.
It's a torch holding hand.
Miller!
Give it. You know, my favorite podcast, the Food Court Movie Podcast, I was listening to it and I thought, they'd be the perfect people to pass the
I kind of have like a ridiculous... I own some of those, like the thing that you put on your glasses so it doesn't fall off.
Oh, yes.
He often has like a nice cravat or some kind of... I can get one of those.
I love it.
I don't want to go to the desert, but I can.
We should make a parody.
Yeah.
Sad sax, and it's a living saxophone that's depressed, living in a post-apocalyptic world.
Spoiler alert. There's a saxophone in the original Mad Max.
Oh,
there's also one in Thunderdome, but
and there's the guitar that made a spoiler alert appearance in Furiosa. Brief appearance.
What?
You remember the crazy guy?
Yes.
I love that guy.
Our boy, the Doof Warrior.
I wonder what his name, like what his position is. Guitarist.
He's Imperator Doof Warrior.
Guitar-atar.
Guitarata.
Guitarata. I am the guitarata. Anyway, I have to tell you.
So what's the best part of this movie again?
I will never get to this, and we will never. Okay. All right. They're at the bullet farm. Her and Jack. And there's an ambush. And Furiosa and Jack have planned to escape together. They're going to let the war boys take the war rig back on their own. Mm-hmm. And they're going to ride off in the sunset. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't explain it. They're just like, hey, put 2 motorcycles on this car. And they're like, why? And they're like, just do it.
Just do it. We're the boss.
Yeah, just do it, dude.
The thing I really love about that is when it first happens, you almost think, is Jack not going with her?
Yeah.
Like, they've had these really sweet moments. Mm-hmm. They have, like, one just lovely moment where he, like, sews her wound up, and they put their heads together, and it's like the only time anyone has anything nice happen to them.
Exactly.
In, like, almost all of the movies.
The whole movie.
And so when she's in the car alone, you're like, what? Jack? No.
Why?
Now, in the end, Jack probably should have just gotten away because it didn't really, spoiler alert, work out for him.
I know.
They're in Bullet
tragic. Town. Yeah, they're in Bullet Farm, and they get ambushed by Dementus's forces. That guy, say what you want about him, he's a mess, but he is good at taking over places.
Yeah.
He's somehow able to always do it, unless it's in Morton Joe's, citadel.
Yeah. I think that's one of the fun things about him is that he's like kind of bumbling, but he's also get shit done.
Which, I mean, that does seem to happen a lot in real life.
Sure.
Just complete fools somehow making it work.
I mean, he's got some good ideas.
Yeah.
He's
Hey.
like, well, obviously the bullet farmer is not here because he's at Morton Joe's house.
Yeah.
Well, this is a perfect time to take over the bullet farm.
I'll just take the bullet for him. Why don't I just take the bullet for him? But unfortunately, Furiosa gets separated from Jack because she backs out, but then the gate comes down. And she's like, I ain't having that. I'm going to go get my friend. And she has this huge rescue and like is blasting people with a sniper rifle. It's awesome. So cool. And my favorite, Dementus grabs this guy. He has a rocket launcher and he has him like, he pushes his body out and he gets shot. And then he shoots the rocket at Furiosa and it blows up everything around her. And she falls underground. And there's a really fun like slow-mo. It was really fun, and I just love that whole scene. And I love it was in the trailer, but like Dementus falling and the bullets all like pushing him almost off the edge. I just thought that whole thing was such a great set piece.
They're really
and really fun. And the following when Jack and Furiosa get in the car and drive away, that is such a fun chase scene.
It's really good.
And you think they're gonna get away, but sadly,
God,
they did not.
So sad, but badass.
It is. You know what I like about these?
Mm-hmm.
Even like in Fury Road, Mad Max, even the best of them can't even get away. He gets his car blown up and flipped and gets all effed up.
Absolutely.
There's no way out.
There's no way out.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that I love about this is maybe part number 2 on my favorite things of the movie is that it's like all of the movies, including this one, are about like, how do you keep going?
Yeah.
Like what keeps you going in this world?
Absolutely.
And for most people, it is revenge.
Yeah.
But the fun thing is they almost always realize that's not the important thing. They almost always realize that the important thing is like being with people that you like.
Yep.
Just like finding someone that you get along with.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's the end of the world, just like find someone.
Find some.
I think that's lovely.
Group. Yeah. I mean, even the bad guys are finding people.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just community.
Yeah. Dementus has his boy Smeg. They're buds. Okay, so
Meg.
I beg to differ, Mampy. Actually, the best part is the best part of this whole goddamn movie is this.
Okay, tell me about it.
I think I believe it's the first time Furiosa sneaks onto the war rig.
Yes.
And it's after they've spent a wonderful sequence building the war rig.
Yes.
Making beautiful metal, I don't know, you don't carve. They're probably...
objects.
Well, like when you have...
Welding?
I don't know what you do to make metal look beautiful. You probably do like a cast or something, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So they do beautiful casts. They make a beautiful war rig. And they're on the go. And, of course, some people are going to start some shit. When you're on the go in the wasteland, people are starting the shit.
Always.
And it's Octoboss's boys.
Oh, he's bad.
Octoboss, we've seen him a few times hanging out with Dementus, and he has said, fuck you, Dementus, I'm not part of your gang anymore. You killed some of my guys.
Yeah.
He's got cool horns. He's got a great big octopus thing hanging
That is
from him.
awesome. I love it.
He's got a huge fan. And
it blows the octopus thing and like inflates it, and it's like
awesome.
It's really fun.
But the scene begins kind of, sort of, or it like kicks into high gear as it happens like 1,000 times in the movie when something goes into high gear. But one of the many times it goes into high gear, there's a guy on the back of a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. He jumps off, and he's almost like water skiing because he's got like 2 bumpers on his feet, and he's like sand skiing.
Crazy.
And then his parachute goes out, and he begins to float in the air, and he's like throwing bombs and shit at them from fucking parachute, and it's like,
yeah, it's really fun.
I just fucking freaked out.
Yeah, it's such a fun
this
scene.
is awesome.
I was like, oh, whoa, okay, this is like where they one up some of the action in Fury Road.
Yes.
I was like, oh shit.
And it's also, he's done so much shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's done so many different kinds of things.
Yeah.
Like the polecats in Fury Road and all sorts of crazy shit that you can't imagine. And then when that happens, it's like, well, I never even thought of it.
Oh my God. It's so simple.
It's so simple.
All along.
But it's one of those things where it's like, well, that's just a $1 billion idea. It's so awesome. And that whole scene is just badass. Just people getting tossed under wheels.
Yeah.
War boys killing themselves by like grabbing parachute men and throwing themselves under the wheels so that the parachute men go into the wheels.
That's the beautiful thing about the war boys. They don't mind dying. They're like, all right, I'm going to Valhalla. Yeah. Which I also love the scene where you can go back to that scene, but I love when Dementus first shows up at Immortan Joe's Citadel, and they're like, let us demonstrate something. Like you pick any of the war boy, and they're like looking around. He's like, that one, and he sprays his mouth and he grabs his 2 bomb sticks and he's like, he just fly. I forget what he says, but he just
yells witness,
yeah, and he jumps off and just blows himself up.
Blowing him up.
And they're like, oh, fuck. We
got to get the fuck out of here.
There's like giant hooks flying out, picking up cars. Awesome. I was like, this is amazing.
It's really awesome.
That was great.
Dementus is very funny in many scenes, but he's quite good in that one. He's like, well, what if I don't want to pick someone?
Yeah, exactly. It's so goofy.
Okay. I said the parachute thing. That's the best part.
It is great.
Part 2 is how lovely everything is.
Yeah.
Part 3 is part of part 2.
Mm-hmm.
But the end, the pre-end, the actual end is like, hey, remember Fury Road? And you're like, yes.
Yeah, we loved it.
Of course, yeah. I've watched it like 10 times probably. It's a great movie.
I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
But the ending of our story, this story before the other story, we get this tale that the future man is telling us. He's telling us about the many ways that people say Furiosa might have killed Dementus.
Yes.
Maybe she shot him. Maybe to get him back in the same way that he killed Jack. She dragged him behind the car.
Yes.
Or the way she really did it, because he heard it from her mouth.
Yeah.
She planted a peach pit, which she had in the movie the whole time, into his body, and it used him as food to turn into a beautiful peach tree.
Crazy.
And it's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't believe I was seeing. I was like, oh my God.
It's insane.
He's like,
It's so awesome.
What an amazing way to go.
And it's like, it really is like you can put this in with the classic ends of myths.
Yeah, is this
like you can, King Midas's daughter hugs him and she turns into gold. Like you can put it in there with that. Like it's awesome.
It's the whole thing just looks like a myth. Like it just feels like a epic adventure of the mythical proportions.
Yeah.
Of the big sandstorms and the settings and everything about it. Yeah. And that ending, I was like, oh yeah, this is totally just,
I also really like the fact that ending is so many different things. Like, okay, it is the dark, bleak ending where, she gets her revenge and he's tortured for a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
But also, it is about, like, deciding to go home.
Yeah.
Like, she plants the seed. She's had this seed the whole time. She finally plants it. And, like, the next day, she's like, it's time. I gotta go. And I don't know. I just really love that so many of the movies are like, we just gotta keep trying.
Yeah, exactly.
And even when it seems fucking insane where they get to the green place and there's no fucking green place in Fury Road.
Oh,
so they're like, oh, we just left the green place. Let's go back there.
Yeah, there's literally green stuff on top.
Let's go back there.
It is amazing. That is still like one of the best shots ever. Like where Charlize collapses, like she takes her arm off and just like collapses after she learns that there's
Brutal.
just her whole journey's been for nothing.
I
It's
know.
like, whoo! Especially now with this movie, you're like, wow, you went.
Woof.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Everyone she knows has been eaten by dogs.
Yep.
Every single person she's ever met has been eaten by
The
dogs.
dogs. They got them. The dogs in this are not like the dogs we have now, Betty. They're mean.
They're not very
dogs.
friendly.
Mm-mm.
Future dogs, I don't know what happens to them, but you know, they get
That's
hungry.
bad.
That's what happens to them essentially.
Yeah, and they just eat everything they can find. It makes sense.
What else is good about this movie, Mampy?
There's so much good stuff.
Tell me more.
I loved how quickly it started. I thought it was like,
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. So it's still gonna go. There's gonna be more story, but it's gonna still.
We're
be like,
going, yeah.
let's move. I love the mom chasing after her sequence is just so cool. And like, all the sniping is amazing. The way they like jump on and off of stuff, and like her changing out the wheels, like all this stuff was just so, and it was so much just like things are just happening, and you're just like, okay, they know what they're doing. I'm just gonna let them do what
I'm
they're
just
doing.
understanding this, and also it's this deep thought into the things that matter in the world, where like that one guy crashes, they steal his front wheel, one so that she can't follow them, but also so they have that wheel.
Exactly.
You never know when you're gonna need a wheel, and that's like flying behind them, and like she's changing wheels and stuff and changing gas tanks and all of this thought put into the minutia of like how their world works.
Yeah, it's fun.
And like how they go about, saving different things that they need. They need the gas, so they have an easy way to take off gas tanks.
Yes.
It's
I
awesome.
love it.
So cool.
Yeah, it just felt so. I just love a world that is just operating. Like it's like, hey, you're just here to watch. We don't have to explain everything to you because this is the world we live in. So you're just here to look at it. I'm like, that's just fun. That's more interesting to me than it all began when the missiles shot up. Like that. It's like, all right. You can have like, I like this even had like sound bites that they always do.
Yeah,
You know.
they love a good soundbite.
Some setup, but it's just like, come on, let's just get in here and.
They don't need to tell you that much.
No.
I mean, that's the thing is Miller just knows that we're not fucking idiots.
Yeah, which is nice.
And he's like, hey, if she gets a gas can off of a motorcycle and straps it to her motorcycle, she's doing that so she can have gas.
Yep.
That's the whole thing.
Exactly.
We don't need to have her go, oh, well, I better get some of this gas.
Yeah, just talking to herself.
I'm going to need a tire.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to need
I'll need this later.
This motorcycle needs a front tire for sure.
Some horrible ADR, like not even moving her mouth.
front
Yes,
tire.
and I'll be doing this later. And I love
More
to.
bullets. We need more bullets.
We need when she steals Furiosa back from Dementis, and she's like riding away, which they should have just killed that lady. I know, which I
kill
love.
that bitch.
Her mom's weapon, the like slingshot bullet.
Oh.
It was like so cool.
I don't know what it does
I was like,
or
oh,
how it kills
shit.
them, but it's awesome.
It's amazing. She should have killed her. Can't trust her. I mean, even ladies in the future are mean. I mean,
Honestly,
yeah.
if we've learned one thing from Furiosa, it's kill women.
Kill them all.
Or they're gonna
You
kill
just-
you.
Whether you make them, imperators.
Oh, that's true. We learned that from Fury Road.
If you make them milkers, they're just gonna mess with you, man. The only woman
man.
you can leave alive is the one who lives in a hole scraping maggots off of corpses.
She can live. Let her
Or the-
live.
Or the just straight up evil ones who like have like a slashed face or like willing
she's
to
awesome.
do anything. She's wild. I was like, whoa.
I love her so much.
that scene where they set her up is crazy.
Smash her in the face with a wrench.
We don't know if she's dead. Who knows? Maybe she comes back.
I hope she does. She's
Yeah,
great.
she's
She deserves a
awesome.
whole movie.
She should have her own gang next time.
You know what is awesome about this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Part 7. Lots of funny lines.
Yes, classic.
Hemsworth is managing to thread the needle of being quite funny.
Yeah.
And also quite sinister. And kind of talking in a way that no one in the Wasteland talks.
Exactly.
Like, no one has this sort of way of talking. And obviously, we find out that that's just his mechanism for dealing with the fact that he lost his entire family at some point. Which is a great thing to show about your main villain, is that, like, he too has suffered.
Yeah.
And that doing your revenge that's another great part of the end, is when they're just like, killing me is just like killing you, and you're just becoming me, and is that really great? And
I love it.
Sort of, yeah. It's kind of great, but it also
you have
is awful.
it in you to make it epic.
Which
I'd say she did.
She had it in her. Did she have it in her? She planted a fucking peach pit in his dick hole, and a tree grew out of it. That's fucking epic, baby.
It's incredible.
It's awesome. Okay.
Epic.
This is when they're having their meeting after Dementus has captured Gastown. And they're at the at Big Joe's office.
Yeah.
I don't know
I wish he was just called Big Joe.
At his penthouse.
Big Joe.
At Big Joe's. And of course, Morton Joe's got to figure out what's going on. He's like, "Who is that?" And he points at the little girl.
Yeah.
And she doesn't say anything. Of course, Hemsworth says, "She hasn't spoken since her mother's tragic end." Very poignant.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
He's wild.
Really good stuff.
He's like poetic and deranged at the same time. He's funny. I love it. I love his little microphone too.
I like how much of the movies is just about like people finding ways to express themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh shit, it's the end. Let's start making some fashion.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's beautiful. The octopus guy, he think about it. He's like, okay, there'll be horns, and then I'll have this like thing behind my back.
I'll have a net over my face.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
It's great.
And then you go, yes, it is awesome.
It looks cool.
It's a great idea, Octoboss.
Just thinking about the joy they had building these outfits is,
Yeah.
It's amazing. Even in Morton Joe, they had to build this mask. We still don't know why he's like that, but yeah, man, I'm sure he's just mutated from...
He's Half-Life, baby.
Yeah, he's Half-Life, baby.
That's what happens.
That was crazy when they pulled the baby out. Oh. Half-Life, it has 3 legs. I was like, whoa. Which explains, because in Fury Road, they hint at, like, people who are mutated that are his sons and stuff.
Yes.
And all the War Boys all have, like, the, like, boils.
Yes.
Those are... Yeah, it's interesting.
I almost forgot Scrotus.
Oh, yeah, Scrotus.
Oh.
The mystery man.
He's so great.
He is great.
Every time he's on, he's just like, how come we're not fighting them?
Yeah.
Let's go to Gastown and kill them.
Which you can kind of piece together that he just gets killed at some point, because he's just trying. He's always wanting
he just wants to battle, and he's also seems... He's not as dumb as Rictus.
No.
But he's not that smart.
Yeah.
And also he's desperate to prove things to his daddy.
Yeah, and, I got to give him credit. He's also not a sick pervert who,
yes,
wants to do things. Yeah, that scene, I was getting worried. I was like, oh, no, please don't.
Wow.
Don't do it. But I'm glad, I'm glad it went the way it did.
Yes. Yeah. Furiosa got free. Rictus tried to make his moves, which
creepy.
Was yucky.
Yeah, I was like, no.
And also just because he's like such a frightening figure in the first place.
Yeah.
Just a huge,
it's like, oh my God,
terrifying man. And you're like, oh no, get him, get out of there, Furious. He's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I'm glad she got away. And I'm glad, she made the most of a bad situation. She really did. She climbed the ladder, man.
She did.
She got up there and never once. I mean, I wonder when she revealed that, because everyone knows she's a woman in Fury Road.
Yes.
When was she like, hey, I'm a lady. Look, here's the thing.
I think it's it must have been some point into the Training with Jack where it's just like,
look,
hey, that's a lady.
Yeah.
She killed a bunch of people. If you want to start shit with her, she's going to stab you in the neck. So feel free, but you're going to regret it.
Now, I have to ask.
Ask me.
I never really found a point where, like, Immortan Joe was just overly cruel to her or, like, really did anything bad to her. So in Fury Road, when she's like, remember me, why exactly? Is she just saying, remember when you were going to turn me into your wife or whatever? Is that what she's remembering me about?
I mean, I think some of it...
Or...
I
don't
know.
I can't. That's where I was kind of confused. I was like,
because she says the same thing to Dementus.
Yeah, I guess she just likes to say
She just likes to say, remember
me? Oh, yeah, you're my imperator. Of course I remember.
Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's like, remember me, like when you're in Valhalla.
Oh.
Or in hell or whatever.
Valhalla.
Hey, remember me.
Yeah. Hey.
Remember that I'm the one who did this to you.
Yeah.
And that all the things you've done to all these people are bad.
That's true.
Maybe.
Or she's like, remember when you let this kid get in your place? Well, this kid just got in your face.
Yeah.
And rips that part was awesome. Just rips his whole face off.
Oh.
I'm sorry. That movie is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's amazing.
I can't get over it.
It's a fucking awesome movie.
It's a great movie. Anyway, sorry. This is 2, but...
Hey. Mampy.
Mm-hmm.
I got one more good thing.
Okay.
Then we got to talk some shit.
Yeah.
So my good thing before your final good thing. Hair tree. Do you remember the hair tree?
Oh, yes. That was a big fella.
Awesome.
Yeah, that is cool.
So Rictus... Furiosa knows that Rictus is a big fucking creep.
Yeah, big.
And so she uses wax to attach all of her hair to a little yarmulke, and then she puts it on her head.
Wild.
And Rictus pulls on the hair. She runs the fuck away.
Yeah, he's so dumb. He's like looking at it for. He's like,
ooh,
yeah.
ooh. And then he makes a crazy face. And Rictus gets caught trying to find Furiosa. Yeah. And our main man, Scrotus, is like, hey, what are you doing? Rictus is like, nothing.
Oh. Yeah.
he throws the hair off the cliff. Yeah. And it lands on a little bush.
Mm-hmm.
And to show time changing, time going by, the little bush grows.
And so does the hair.
Hair
gets old.
It's weird. How does the hair get old? Who knows? But it's
hair,
awesome.
It's just protein, and protein needs to be fed, and if it isn't, it starts to wither and age and
That's
fade.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I just love that part.
I thought it was great.
It's a good way to not have 10 years later Chiron going across the bottom.
Which we already do have, we have breaks and
yes. At least the chapter breaks in this have cool names.
Yeah, it's like, and they're purposeful. Like, there's a point. Like, I get why they're there. It is better than the time thing.
Yes. Yeah. That's the last good thing about.
Yeah, ain't
Furiosa.
Nothing else good about this movie.
Do you have anything else?
I had a good time with it.
I thought really a lot of fun.
Shot well again.
It looks great.
I just love seeing movies where people like think about composition. It's just so nice.
And it's also a movie that goes out of its way to make the transition between the fake world and the real world pretty seamless.
I think so.
And it also creates a world that is crazy enough that most of the time you don't question the things that do seem a little bit outside of the realm of reality.
It's like, all right.
Yeah, you just kind of go, oh, okay, well, this is not a real world. This is a world where people can, fly and parachutes and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
They can have flying motorcycles. So that makes sense.
Oh, I did like that we got to see the crazy motorcycle gang from Fury Road come back when they chased down that one dude and just killed. I was like, jeez.
Really good. They're cool dudes.
Yeah, the big shot where Dementus's men are coming around that big, like, mountain thing.
Yes.
That is just there's so many just cool shots.
Yes.
Wow.
It just kicks ass.
However they composited that, or if maybe that's just what it looked like, I was like, that was just awesome.
But you know what?
Mm-hmm.
It can't all be good.
Mm-mm.
You know what sucked about this fucking piece of shit?
Unfortunately.
Okay, this is in my opinion, the thing that was bad. there's a final showdown between Furiosa and Dementus that I think, for the most part, is fine.
Yeah.
Like their back and forth is pretty good. I think finally Anya Taylor-Joy gets to talk for a little while, which is cool. And Dementus gets to do his like little mind fuck where he's like, "You're just being me, man." But I think this is one of the only parts of the movie that looks like it is just like in a box.
Yeah.
I
feel that.
There's a few other spots in the movie where it's like, but this is one of the ones where it's like, well, this is one of the most important scenes.
Yeah.
And well, they're just kind of standing in the nowhere.
Yeah.
And I was just disappointed in it because it's like, well, this is really important. This is the final showdown.
Yeah.
You should, nail it. You should nail it.
It would have been cool if they would have kind of mirrored, like, maybe composition-wise and lighting-wise the way, which would be really tough to do, but like the scene I'm talking about in Fury Road with Charlize, like make it feel like that like big moment, like, oh shoot, she finally has this in her hands, or like something going on in the background, because it was a little. It's
just like
bland.
There's obviously some kind of low-grade sandstorm happening.
Yeah,
but there's not really much movement back there.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, well, I guess I'll just look at their faces, because
yeah,
and maybe that's maybe that is part of the intention, is like, the background is not that important, but
yeah, it's just them.
In so many of the other parts of the movies, when things are important, they still look great.
Yeah,
like when the peach tree is growing out of Dementus, like they pull back and it just looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's like, whoa.
And when Jack and Furiosa are like having this moment, this one moment of sweetness, like they pull back and it's just like a beautiful frame, and the way they look is great and all the color is great. And I just was disappointed by the fact that, well, it's like they're just in a nothing, and they weren't outside, and they were just in a box, and that's it.
Exactly.
And all of the light is fake, and it just looks
yeah.
Why don't please.
That's it. It's especially tough. That's like I really struggled with this one. Was not as good about either like seamlessly blending the VFX or just not leaning on them as much.
Yeah,
which I get. They went really ambitious with a lot lot of stuff. So I totally get. It's like, all right, we can't have Anya Taylor-Joy with a motorcycle dragging on the ground right next. Like I totally get. Like that's just like, okay, that's just not gonna happen. But like some of the stuff on that fight with the octopus guy, like so the background just kind of looks like kind of fake, or like there's just, or like the war boys like turn fake a couple. There's one shot in particular where they drive up, and I think like one falls off and like rolls off, and he looks just like jittery and completely fake, and I was like, this is kind of bumming me out, because there's so much like, I know we shouldn't be comparing them, but Fury Road just has so much like well blended composition, and they still did VFX stuff, of course, like
tons,
all the shit flying at the screen and stuff. And it's just like I get it, and I totally think this one did a pretty good job. I wasn't like annoyed or anything. I was just like, all right, I get it.
Yes.
So that would be mine. It's a little too reliant on VFX in this one.
Agreed.
When I know they can, and I know they probably did Fury Road and we're like, well, we're never doing that shit again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucking insane.
Which I totally get. That's completely reasonable.
Yeah.
You already did it. You're good. You earned a pass.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I think
just
so.
Some of the... I still had a great time.
Yeah.
And I still think that scene mostly works. And most of like the stuff where sometimes I'm like, okay, well, that's... it's not great.
Exactly.
It usually still works.
Sure.
But...
yeah.
Especially when it's like something real. It's like, this is
the moment.
This is where the whole movie leads to, and it kind of looks meh.
Yeah.
But we can't only talk about Mad Max Furiosa, Fury Saga.
Time.
We have to talk about the other movies we watched this week, which brings us to a segment called Panda Express presents Express Yourself about the movies you watched this week. Play the song.
Ding 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 ding. It's time for the Panic Express. Doot doot, because we got some things expressed. Doot doot about the things we watched. Doot doot this week. Da 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 da. Or the Furiosa music. They're like.
Oh yeah.
The music's awesome. That I gotta
It's
say, I
music.
love the music. Okay, what'd you watch this week?
Did you watch anything this week?
I attempted to watch 3 movies and turned them all off.
What
But
were
I'll
they?
still share them. I started one called The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Ugh, sounds awful.
Horrible. I saw like a clip and people were like, "Oh, this is like people forgot about this movie. It's really great." And it just starts completely just like, ugh. It's got like a guy from Workaholics like singing to some pop song. I was like, this is horrible. I couldn't do it. I cut it off. I was like, this sucks.
No.
Do you want to hear all 3 that I tried?
Which one?
Do you want to hear all 3
Yes,
that I tried?
please.
And then I saw a clip from a movie called Wine Country with Amy Poehler, and I was like, the clip was kind of funny.
No.
But no, I couldn't get through the beginning. It's all the ladies are like, we're crazy mamas. And I was like, I can't do this.
Isn't it crazy to be a mom?
And then I tried Uncrusted. Uncrusted? Is that Uncrustable? Whatever the fucking Pop-Tart movie is.
Oh.
I couldn't do it, man.
It was awful.
It makes me just hate comedies.
Yeah.
It really makes
yeah.
me just go, comedy movies don't work. You got to do a movie that happens to be funny as well. Because the bits, I was like, oh, man.
I heard they're trying for some of the airplane energy.
Yeah.
And I was like,
weird.
man, nobody can do that. There's only 3 guys who have ever done it, and they all worked on the same movie together.
Exactly.
So no one else can do it.
Yeah, it's like a weird blend of like reality and that, and it just doesn't quite work.
Ugh.
Sadly.
What if The Office was airplane?
Yeah, and like the length of a movie.
Ugh.
Like they're at a cereal award ceremony, and the Quaker Oats guy shows up dressed as him, and I was like, this is just not working.
What?
It's just weird. I couldn't do it, man.
Not for me.
No. So I didn't watch one full movie, but I watched about a collective 25 minutes. And I tried. I also was reading a lot of news and seeing stuff that bummed me out. So that's why I couldn't just get into it, but
I get that.
yeah. How about you?
You know what I watched? I mentioned it earlier. I watched Challengers.
Oh, right.
Wait, did I mention it earlier?
I don't know if that was on the pod if we were there.
I watched it again. Best viewing so far.
Oh,
First time I saw it, I was like, this is awesome. Second time I saw it, I was like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Third time I saw it, I was like, this is awesome.
There you go.
It was also a great crowd. I told you now I'm remembering before the podcast.
Oh.
Packed house.
Yeah, I love a packed
There was not an empty seat. And they were having fun.
Mm-hmm.
They were laughing at all the jokes. We were having a good time.
Yeah.
And it was just a ton of fun. And I didn't realize, I guess I saw it with a sort of empty crowd, but in my head, I didn't realize how meow this movie is, how like bitchy this movie is.
Yeah, it really is.
And it, with a bunch of, it was probably me and like 75 20-year-old girls.
Yeah.
So they were all like, oh. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, we're having a great time. This
I
is
bet
awesome.
the 3-way scene was a ride. I bet people were like,
They're like,
oh, ay, Dios mío.
Yeah, it was awesome. Good flick.
Good flick.
We're going to need some help for next week.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's fucking nothing.
We're in the wasteland of movies.
Yes. Tweet at us at Food Courtcast. Let us know what you want us to watch. We don't want to watch Garfield, but if we have to, I guess we will. If you have any other ideas, please let us know.
Oh, God.
Also, follow us on all of your social medias. Retweet us, repost us,
Share.
hit the heart,
Subscribe.
hit like, subscribe, hit all the things.
Comment something pleasant. We don't get many pleasant comments, so please give us a nice
Either do
supportive-
one nice comment or 7 mean comments.
Oh, here's what you do. Write the meanest thing you can, get 1 million likes on it, and then edit it back to say something really nice.
That's smart. That's really smart.
That's all you gotta do.
Mampy is ugly and Sean
Yes.
is ugly.
Wow, give it up, guys. You are losers, and no one cares about your opinion. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hey,
Now that you're done writing
more
about
food.
yourself, how about you write about us? That's what I've got.
Thank you.
There's so many times where I want to write some like really mean thing. I'm like, no, I can't. I got to save it for the pod.
Save it for the pod.
So here's what I've got to say. You mother.
Hey, listen, John 75, 85, 75, 95, 85, 95. Fuck you.
You beep.
You beeper.
You beeper.
That's... It couldn't be good.
Uh-uh.
There's no beginning to that bleep that could work out.
None of them.
Yeah, I can't think of one.
Don't even, yeah.
Mampy, it's been such a pleasure speaking to you about Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, Part 9.
I looked forward to it for so long, and I'm glad it was a good time.
It was so surprising to me.
Yeah, I was like,
this is another miraculous thing. Like, well, Fury Road couldn't have been that great. And then it was.
As if Ridley Scott, like the Ridley Scott Alien stuff had been good, that kept coming out. Like, it's like one of those where you're like, ooh, this could be bad.
Yeah.
And then when it's nice, when you're like, oh, this isn't bad.
Yeah. Bad idea. Stupid idea.
Yeah.
We never ever, to be clear, never ever make a prequel to any other movie. It's fucking stupid.
Don't work.
But if you're going to do it, make every new thing surprising.
Yes.
In this movie, when she rips off her arm so that she can get away,
That's awesome.
You're like, holy shit, I forgot she didn't have an arm in Fury Road, and this is where she lost it. You're like, fuck, that's crazy.
Which adds so much more weight to it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, shit.
Do shit like that.
Oh,
shit.
And you know what? They could totally do a Mad Max where Scrotus is chasing after Max. Because remember, at the beginning of Fury Road, he's running from the War Boys. And they blow up his... So something was going down. So maybe he killed Scrotus and they caught him. Maybe.
I'll watch that.
Maybe.
I mean, I'll watch that.
I'll watch it.
I take it back. Make as many prequels as you want.
As many as you want. Please, bring back Tom. I'd love to see Tom back.
I love Tom so much.
Bring him back. He'll be older, but make him younger. It's fine.
That's fine. They made the little girl look like Anya Taylor-Joy somehow.
I know. I was like, whoa, is that like her sibling? Like, it was weird. I was like, whoa.
They just deep-faked her, right? Didn't they?
Oh, they did?
I don't know. Probably.
What?
I don't know, Mampy.
That is crazy.
What I'm trying to tell you is something important.
Okay.
Thank you so much for doing the show. It's been such a pleasure. Tweet at us. Let us know what we have to watch next week. On behalf of Mampy Hikes, I am Sean Parrott saying to you, bon appetit.